Hey everyone, welcome to the Custom Lobby, episode 4. I'm JT, and with me, as always, is Justin. How are you doing today, good sir?
I'm doing great. How are you, JT?
I'm doing good, man. First pod episode of 2025, starting off the new year. I know January already came and went, but now we're in February. How's the year treating you so far?
Honestly, pretty mixed. Lots of work to be done, dude. I do warehouse work. Won't go into too much detail, but it's been real busy. So I'm kind of glad we're getting to a podcast in what is it, mid February now. but I'm
Yeah,
excited. I'm
almost.
excited to be back.
Yeah, no, I'm excited too. This should be a lot of fun. So far, 2025, I'm kind of with you. Starting off a little bit mixed. I started off really, really sick. So my birthday is in January. For those of you that don't know, middle of the January is my birthday, and my whole family was kind of sick, and I was kind of out of it for like a couple weeks. I went to work sick, and then I was feeling so bad they sent me home because I sounded awful. So I went through a sick birthday and basically just been grinding work. And yeah, now I'm back to normal and playing some games.
Glad
But
you're feeling
2024,
better.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. 2024 has been a crazy year in the games industry. There have been a lot of highs and a lot of lows. One of them being mass layoffs. But hopefully in 2025, things will be on the up and up and get better and improve. Um, One of the games that Justin and I have been playing that, was kind of giving me hope for the new year is Marvel Rivals. Came out in December last year and it's just blown up ever since. Really popular still. February 2025. Free to play hero shooter, third person on all platforms. Justin, what are your thoughts on Marvel Rivals, man?
Dude, on the screen right now, Adam Warlock. Perfect transition, bro. I love that character. I just want to say, like, before we even get into the game, I am not the biggest fan of hero shooters, dude. And you know this. Like,
Yeah.
I've rambled so much of, like, why I dislike Overwatch, why I don't like TF2 that much. Sorry, Steam lovers out there. You can hate on me all you want, but hero shooters are not my forte. Marvel Rivals is the best hero shooter of all time. The first good hero
Whoa.
shooter ever. So,
Oh,
yeah,
wow. That's
I'm
high praise.
yeah, dude. I'm excited
High
to talk
praise.
about this because I'm a long-term hater, dude.
Yeah. No, that's really high praise from Justin. A lot of people know that I'm a big fan of Overwatch, or at least I used to be a huge fan of Overwatch. Despite all of Blizzard's issues, I was always kind of a fan of the gameplay, the lore, just the visuals, just everything about it just really appealed to me. And how Justin kind of feels about Marvel Rivals is how I felt about Overwatch. But ever since Marvel Rivals came out, man, I've been hating on Overwatch to the max. And you could kind of see that in like social media, how everyone's praising Marvel Rivals and kind of trash talking Overwatch. And rightfully so. I'm glad Marvel Rivals is doing really well. But um, yeah, man, I know you like Adam Warlock, but are there any other heroes that you play or you fancy?
Dude, I'm a Luna Snowman. Literally the best
Yeah.
character ever. I really like that supports in this game actually dish out damage. JT knows this, bro. Like I've hit play of the game like multiple times in a row playing healers, bro. It's insane. Which like shouldn't.
Yeah.
I feel like it shouldn't happen. It feels a little weird, but like at the same time, I'm glad I can contribute to more than just Jeff the Shark was just on the screen. I can
Yeah.
contribute just more than just like throwing people off a map or like healing. I really like that.
Yeah, the healers are fantastic. A lot of fun to play. I know in a lot of hero shooters, people kind of don't want to play a role because it's either boring or uninteresting or what have you. But a lot of people are quick to switch to healers in Marvel Rivals. Rarely ever do the matches are rarely ever in the matches do people like not want to switch to a character. Usually someone will swap out. People are pretty friendly, and considering it doesn't have a role lock, I find that to be very impressive. I hope it stays that way. The game prioritizes fun, and
Yup.
that's something that I really respect.
Dude, the synergies and combos you can do by like pairing up people from similar universes is just like chef's kiss, dude. Like actually incentivizing you to like do team ups. It really
Yeah.
helps with like, okay, I need this character. and we need like maybe somebody is not playing a support. We need a support. Well, there's like an option for you to be like, okay, maybe I can do a team up, and also be a support character. And it's like that. It rewards the players for picking a diverse hand of roles, while also being like, okay, this character's actually fun to play. Like,
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest faults of other hero shooters is like sometimes you may be stuck playing a character who's really good, but like isn't fun to play. But you need that character on your team. You know what I mean? This
Yeah.
game kind of balances that where it's like, okay, I may not like this character that much, but this team up ability is really cool. Like one thing that I like is Groot and Rocket. You know, just like
Yes.
Rocket being able to climb on top of Groot is just like it changes the way you play those characters.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, dude, I can get diverse gameplay from the same character. It's like, oh, please, everybody
Yeah.
learn from this. Please learn from this. This is good.
Yeah, no, and it provides some hilarious gameplay, hilarious. You have, of
The
course,
amount of clips
uh,
I've seen, dude.
yes, yes, another team up ability that stands out to me is like Rocket Raccoons, where he gives unlimited clips or ammo for a short period of time to like characters like Punisher and Winter Soldier. It's just so you think about that stuff and you think about how you can counter it, how you can rise above it, and you just think about what to pick that's best for your team and what everyone's pretty comfortable with.
Yeah.
There's no like there's powerful characters, but I never feel restricted, There's not it's not like Overwatch where some characters are clearly better than others, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't know if you got that feeling, but
One thing about
that's kind of
Overwatch
how
that I will say is like I didn't play it that much, but like sometimes you're playing a bruiser and you're like, man, I have to be in the front line, but it takes me forever to walk up there. You lose like half your HP trying to run into the fight. But then you get something like, okay, if you're struggling with that, you can maybe like pair up like a Hulk and Wolverine. I think Hulk is the one who can throw Wolverine, right?
yeah, he
Someone who
is.
needs to be up close and personal, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm really struggling getting into the fight. Hulk pair up with me, and then he just launch Wolverine, and Wolverine also has a jump dash thing, so he can get
Yeah.
in, dish out some damage, and get out, dude. It's literally like playing Smite or League of Legends, but like in a hero shooter. I know the hero shooters and MOBAs kind of live in the same ballpark, but they're not really
Yeah.
like. This is the closest representation I think of those two genres blending together, and it's just perfect, absolutely perfect.
No, it's awesome, and there are so many combinations. And the game started off with 33 characters, 30 plus characters, which is a lot for a
Yeah,
base roster. But no, it works. Like you don't feel overwhelmed. You can enjoy the characters at your own pace,
and it feels
and it's
fairly
more fun.
balanced, by the way. Like,
Yeah,
there are some characters where like, yeah, these characters aren't so great, but I feel like even the characters that are considered OP or you see them very often, it's like they're not that hard for the casual gamer to counter. You know what I mean? It
yeah,
really comes down to skill for a lot of the fights that I've been in.
yeah. And then deciding the team ups, right? We talked about that. That's pretty big. And I love how there, like I said it before, I love how there's no rule queue because it allows for a lot of freedom. And believe it or not, I've won
True.
matches with one healer, which is insane. I know
Yep.
that probably won't happen too often, but the fact that you're able to do crazy stuff like that, it just makes for some fun gameplay.
That is definitely a good point that you make. If role queue ever came to this game, I think that was one thing that I liked about Overwatch. One of the few things was I think when it first launched, you could really do that, and then they changed it because of backlash.
Yeah,
But like, I feel like it was the wrong direction. You know, people were saying like, oh, we don't have all these characters, or we don't have these roles being played by a fair amount of the player base. So they
yeah,
kind of restricted player freedom in order to you know fix the gameplay experience for players, and it ended up backfiring. So I'm glad that Marvel Rivals backtracked. It seems like they're doing everything right. They're backtracking on what needed backtracking, and innovating on things that like I didn't even think needed innovating, but they're doing it correctly.
yeah. And I like how they're normalizing uh, battle passes. If you buy a battle pass, you can kind of keep it forever. I wish more live service games did that, and they just do a lot of player consumer friendly like decisions, like making a hero every, I believe every season, right? So every 3 months or so. Um, we'll see how crazy that gets, right, and how long that might last. But just the fact that they're constantly giving players reason to play the game still, um, I find that very commendable.
True, and back on your point about battle passes, like I know there are some games that have done similar things in the past. I don't think Marvel Rivals is the first game to do like now that I've done more research. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of like Chinese what are they called? Gacha games that have like a similar kind of thing. It's more like those are more banner based though rather than battle passes, but like they'll have rerun banners basically to for people that missed out on content during that time period. And some Chinese games. Oh, by the way, for context, anybody that doesn't know, Marvel Rivals is done by a Chinese studio. I forget I forget the exact studio. Put it in the description. But yeah, just for context. And then back to the other game studios in China, kind of following this trend, is they'll have like an event, a story event. Like one thing that comes to mind is Girls Frontline 2, the Gooner shooter, as people have joked. But like they have events, like story events to go along with characters basically. And those story events will actually be time limited, similar to battle passes. And when those characters get banner reruns, their stories will be back, but you won't be able to get all of the rewards from the original banner, so it incentivizes you to play it as it comes out. But then, like, if you miss out on that story event, you can still get some of the rewards later down the line. It like, I really like the consumer-friendly push that battle passes and, quite frankly, gacha games, for all their faults, are, really going in respecting players' wallets as well as their time and gameplay,
No, it's fantastic. And the fact that you can unlock like currency just by playing the game, like premium currency, or you can earn currency that you could switch to premium currency. I think that's really awesome.
Yep, that's
And I
something.
know,
That's a gacha game mechanic
yeah,
too. Yeah.
yeah, it's really good that they're bringing it into a mainstream, you know, a game where so many people have eyes on it. You know, it's like a Marvel game. It's free to play. It's on all platforms. You know, I'm glad they're bringing it a little bit more to the mainstream. And I know they're not the first to do it, but Halo Infinite tried to do it and to middling success. But I think this is so far one of the best examples, at least in recent memory. But
Right.
um,
Yeah.
yeah,
10 out of 10
so
game. Best game of the year. Contender right here. I know it came out in December of last
yeah,
year, but I'm pretty sure it is up for a potential game of the year in 2025, because I think that's how that works, right? Like if it came out after Game Awards or something like that.
I think so.
Yeah.
I
We're
think
we're
so.
just
And
starting off the year, boys. Like, let's
I
go.
know we're just starting off the year. Marvel Rivals, and fantastic! What a way to end the year, end slash start the year. It's a game that we've been playing. We played a lot, you know, with Tyler too. Tyler, you know, he games pretty casually. Not able to make it here with us today, but we played with him a lot, and a bunch of the friends, a bunch of the homies. Um, it's a great time. But
Yep.
Justin has been playing a lot of newer games recently, more so than me. Justin, what games have you been playing lately?
All right, so I've actually been playing a couple games here, but the first one I want to talk about just briefly, because I don't want to spoil too much of it, is Me-Side. It's an anime style horror game. For those of you who don't know, I'm a big weeb. I really like anime, which is not surprising to JT. Dude just finished Cyberpunk, the anime. I think you finished it, right? You were definitely
Yes,
watching.
I did. It
Dude,
was a fantastic.
finally. I
Yes,
told him to
epic.
watch it before he replays Cyberpunk the game, because it's like a prequel almost.
Yeah.
But anyway, I actually have a trailer for those of you who are interested. We'll go ahead and transition to that and then come back. All right, and we're back. I got some. I got a music video, and we're back. Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself, but I
It's
think
totally cool.
the audience heard me, so we're good. But we're back.
Yeah.
And what were your thoughts on that trailer, JT? As I have some a music video playing in the background for this game.
Yeah. So, to give a little context, Justin was telling me about this game when he first started playing it, maybe first started hearing about it. And he sent me like a text or a message on Discord with the trailer of the game. And he was saying, this is a really, I think you said scary, or this is a really crazy horror game. And I watched the trailer like just at a glance. And I got maybe like three-fourths of the way, like maybe with like the audio on low. And I thought he was completely joking. I was like, how is this a horror game, or how is this a scary game? I thought he was trolling me. So I didn't really pay it much attention. But now after kind of watching the full thing through again, I can kind of see where those horror elements come. And I can't wait for you to kind of explain a little bit more about the game without spoiling anything, because I still don't know really what I'm looking at, but it looks interesting. So uh, Justin, what are we looking at?
Yeah, so this is a. It's kind of hard to not spoil the horror aspect of the game without when you're watching the trailer, but like that's all you're gonna really get from that is like, okay, obviously this is more than what it appears. You watch the trailer. For anyone who doesn't know, this is actually a specialized genre of horror game, and it's specific to um, like East Asian game developers. There's other games that are kind of like this, like You and Me and Her. Doki Doki Literature Club is probably the most famous, and then Miside is a spiritual successor to both of those games. And so like basically it's the gameplay usually starts out as like it has like this guise of being a different game. So like we were playing Miside for the first time, just like DDLC and You and Me and Her. It like it has the facade of like a dating sim. Most of these games follow that trend. And so you'll play the game like you're like, oh, okay, this is cute. You know what I mean? Like kind of wholesome,
Yeah,
kind of mobile game feeling. And then
yeah,
it just goes from like 0 to 100. Like, just kidding. This is a horror game.
yeah.
And this genre is very niche. It's very small, but like I really enjoy it. And honestly, like it's like once in a decade that we get a game like this. Like I think this is like the third game of this genre to be famous. The other two that I mentioned before were like I think You and Me and Her came out in like the 2010s, and then Doki Doki came out in like when we were in high school, like 2015, 2016. And so this it's been like 10 years since we've gotten a game like this.
Yeah, none of those games ring a bell. I have heard of Doki Doki Literature Club, but that's funny. Well, that's good to know that it doesn't happen too often. So it's always good to see, kind of a certain type of game come back to the fold and be successful. Like I'm always rooting for stuff like that to happen. So,
Yeah.
but no, cool. Yeah, you'd recommend checking it out. Is how long is it?
It's about 4 hours, and yeah, there's not much I can say on it other than play it because if I tell you anything, and actually, what are those horror games where like you're investigating? I'm not really big on like the mainstream horror genre. You have to help me out here. Um,
When you're
Resident Evil.
investigating what?
Resident Evil.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like
Okay.
they're very similar to Resident Evil in like how they play.
What?
Yeah, like there's
Really?
yeah, I'm not even joking. Well, at least this game. I think that's why this game is
Okay.
blowing up because DDLC was a visual novel. Same thing with You and Me and Her. This is like the first of that genre to go down like a first
Yeah.
person horror game route where like you're actually like fleeing. You're kind of powerless. You're like a powerless protagonist in a sense
Yeah.
where you're basically just trying to flee. And oh man, it's really hard to get into this without spoilers. But there's way more to it than that.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that'll definitely be a game for people who are a fan of this style to definitely check
yeah.
out. I think it's available on Steam, right?
It is. It is available on Steam for I think like $14. I finished playing it already, but it was the one of the first games I played this year. Even though it also technically came out like around Christmas time. I think it was December 10th.
For sure. We count those. We
Yeah, we
count
can't.
those into
We're the stuff we're
2025.
playing. You know, it's stuff we're playing.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. But speaking of games that we're playing right now, I was surprised to see you on Steam. I just logged into Steam one day and then I saw Justin playing Civilization 7, which I had no idea he was a fan of, and I didn't know because I know Justin, he doesn't just speaking on your behalf, but like I don't see you buying new games like on launch all that often. So I was surprised to see you playing it.
Yeah, and for anyone who's interested, I have a trailer for Civilization 7. We'll let that play, give myself a break before I ramble on how awesome this game is. All right, here we go.
Civilization was a game that was created during a time when we were just discovering what games could be. And we said, let's put the entire history of the world into a game and make it fun.
All right, and I'm back.
I was pretty hype.
Yeah, dude, what'd you think?
Build something you believe in. That's tough.
Yeah,
That
dude.
is tough.
I definitely built something I believed in when I was playing the game. Let me tell you, dude. So, for those of you who don't know much about Civilization, this is a long running series. This is the seventh game in the franchise, I think. Yes. Well, I mean, there might be some spin offs, but I haven't played them.
Yeah, yeah.
Seventh main series game. I have a lot to say about this. Starting off, one of the best trailers I think Civ has ever come out with. I really like that they showed like a lot of the old gameplay and trailers from their older games, like how
Yep.
far we've come as fans of this series. Actually, one of the first PC games I ever played was Civilization 4 back in the day. I think that was like around the time when RuneScape was popular.
Woo, I love that
Yeah,
game.
dude. I mean, it's still popular, but
Yeah.
in its glory days when it was on what is it, Miniclip? You remember Miniclip?
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. But yeah. So Civ 7, JT. I know you don't really know a whole lot about the Civilization series, but hopefully you hop in this one. I don't know if you knew this, but this game's actually going to be crossplay with consoles.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah, I was showing the twins, our friends Devin and Derek. We call them the twins. It's just
Yeah.
easier to refer to them that way. And
Yeah.
they were really interested in this game, believe it or not. So I might actually end up
It looks
playing with them.
it looks epic. So okay, I saw that they were showing a bunch of different societies from different eras, right? Do they like conflict with each other? So like guys with rifles fighting dudes with spears, is that how that works?
So
Or
that was actually we can get into like gameplay issues from previous games actually, since that was a great segue. Interesting that you bring that up.
yeah.
So I actually have some gameplay showing on screen from the Antiquity era. There's multiple eras in Civ. Um, there used to be more. So, like, for some context, basically since Civ's inception, all the way up until Civ 6, which was the previous entry, um, you basically went from the Stone Age all the way to the modern day. And some Civ games can literally take like 10 hours to 13
Yeah.
hours to complete. I actually completed an entire campaign. It took me 14 hours on Civ 7.
Ooh,
Yeah. And then the game's only been out for like 4 days. I've had a lot of free time lately. Oh. But
yeah.
aside from work, of course. But yeah, so the game actually isn't out yet. we'll touch on that briefly. I got advanced access through the pre-order. One of the only games I've ever pre-ordered in my life.
Yeah, usually
JT.
that's shunned upon the game community, but I'm an advocate in maybe pre-ordering those bundles if you really trust the company and it's a game you're really excited for. You know what I mean? You definitely don't
Yes.
want to do that for like an EA title or something. That's just
Yeah.
example,
And a
but
Civ
yeah,
game
Civ
is
awesome.
is definitely one of those safe bets, I would argue, because the gameplay
Yeah,
hasn't really changed in 20 years, which is now where finally I can talk about this game and the litany of changes that they've gone to. Holy moly. If you are a Civ fan right now, you either hate this game with a burning passion or you love this game. And I am in the camp of you love it. But before I get into like my love for all of the changes, I will toss a bone to the people who hate this game. it is it is not like Civ games of the past, for better or worse. There's so many changes. Like they basically downsized it from like 8 eras to 3, but those 3 eras are more impactful, in my opinion. Some people may not agree with that. They've changed the way cities grow. Um, there's no more builder units, which is like rest in peace, pyramids of Egypt. If you know if you know what I'm talking about, when you build wonders in this game, you get bonuses, and one of the wonders is the pyramids of Egypt that you can build. And if you build it, you get 4 builders. That era is done. Okay, there's no more builder units. Everything is built strictly off of population numbers. JT's like, you're speaking a foreign language to me right now,
yeah, a
but
little bit, a little bit.
I don't want to get too much into the details of the gameplay, or we'll be here for 3 hours. But
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
for anyone who's interested or anyone who knows about this game, just refer to this gameplay video. It's on the official Sid Meier's YouTube channel. You can deep dive it there. I'm gonna assume everybody knows what I'm talking about here. If you have any questions,
Yeah.
JT, let me know, and
No, that's fair.
keep me on the timer because I might ramble on this one a little bit.
Yeah, no, we're doing all right.
Yeah.
Just so for Civ 7, yeah. So when is the full release coming out?
I think it's Tuesday. Don't quote me on that. The date was actually in the trailer that I showed, so I'm sure the viewers saw that. I just don't remember personally. I know it
Yeah,
came out
yeah,
on.
okay,
It came out on Tuesday of this week, so I think it's 1 week early access. Tuesday, no, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm the voice for the people who are not familiar with Civ 7. So is it like the games? Are they? I know you were saying something along the lines of campaigns, but like are like campaigns like matches, so the matches can last that long, or are they like
Mm,
sets of
so
missions?
their campaigns. Think of it like D&D, but you run a civilization. It's actually more accurate to say it's if you've ever played Risk or Catan, like the board games.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, basically that on a macro scale with like if you've ever played Warhammer tabletop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like Civ is like Risk, Catan, but you get to go from Stone Age to Modern Age, and it also kind of plays like a um, what did I just say? Like a Warhammer tabletop. Yeah.
Warhammer. Yeah.
So you're
So the
literally
it,
building your city, you're developing your culture, you're studying science and discovering new technologies, exploring the world, and also fighting wars, like all in one big game.
yeah.
So
Very cool.
a
Do
campaign.
the ages mix or do they keep them separate?
Okay, I'm glad you came back to that because I rambled for a bit.
No, you're
So
good.
the
You're good.
old games, it was very possible for if you were not the best Civ player, it was very not casual friendly, especially in multiplayer. Um, if you fell behind in technology, you actually may end up being like fighting people with muskets and rifles while you're still stuck with bows and arrows and spears. You basically have to balance every mechanic of the game in order to like progress.
Yeah.
So, and some people liked that. But in Civ 7, they've split everything kind of into 3 eras. So there's antiquity, exploration, and modern now. And those 3 eras have many, how do I say, like tiers. So antiquity has 3 tiers now, which kind of has replaced like Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age. So like while you're in antiquity, the furthest you can get in technology is iron and steel. Like you can't progress anymore until everybody's like caught up, and then it transitions to exploration age. It actually goes through like a little cutscene. Once, so basically how it works, everyone in the game is working towards one of 4 game winning conditions, which is economic, military, cultural, or religion. And so every time someone hits a milestone, it gets added to the counter, the era counter. And the era counter is like at the top of your screen. You actually might be able to... Oh, no, this is Civ 6 gameplay. When they pop up with Civ 7 gameplay again on the screen, look in the top left corner. You'll see this thing called missions. And when they reach 25 points for the entire game, this is during a standard game with 8 players, it'll transition to the next era. So if someone's too far ahead, it gives everybody a chance to kind of catch up, but they will still dominate that era. And if you were dominating in your era, you'll start the next era in a golden age. So it gives you... There's incentive for you to like get ahead of others, but you won't be so far ahead that like everyone else is just having a bad time. And so this game is way more casual friendly than before.
Gotcha. I can understand why there's a lot to like with some of these changes, but I can also understand if you're a longtime fan why some of this might sound a little bit disappointing. As an outsider looking in, I'm sure hopefully the community will be willing to give it a shot, a fair shake. And I'm sure with updates, post-launch content, game will, just get better.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, right?
I could spend the entire podcast talking about Civ 7, but we should probably transition to something else.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say, while Justin was playing a bunch of new releases, which is funny because you would think maybe I'd be playing a lot of new releases and he'd be playing older games, but the script has flipped, so to speak. Some of the old games I've been playing at the start of 2025. One of them actually is a game with one of the biggest comebacks in the games industry, No Man's Sky. Let's take a look at the trailer for for Worlds Part 2.
All right, transition to that. Boom.
This is No Man's Sky, version 5.5. Billions of new stars and planets have appeared across the universe. A new lighting system brings incredible detail. Epic new gas giants loom huge across the universe. Terrain is more detailed and varied than ever, with huge mountains and dramatic landscapes. New biomes mean planets are more varied than ever before. Water reacts physically to the world around it, from raindrops to large waves. A new adventure awaits, tying together many strands of lore. Oceans several kilometers deep are out there to be explored. Discover a rare new living starship. Gas giants can be explored by the most advanced of players. Our journey continues.
We call that a banger trailer right there.
Yes, absolutely. And I might have misspoken before. I might have said that I am playing No Man's Sky, but I plan on playing it. I installed the game. I've played it in the past when the game initially launched, where it had all its issues, its missing content. But after seeing a lot of the community praising this game, seeing how different it looks compared to where it originally started off, I can't help but root for the success of this one. And I hope that maybe I can convince a few friends to jump on with me, because I heard there's crossplay. I heard there's 32-player servers. There's a lot more content. Obviously, you saw new biomes. There's a lot going for No Man's Sky, and maybe one day, Justin, maybe you'd be able to join me, and maybe we can adventure together. I love this concept of exploration. I'm a big sci-fi guy. Everyone knows that. And I'm not even the biggest like survival kind of guy, and this kind of is reminding me a little bit of other survival games like Minecraft, but space, and obviously more to No Man's Sky than that. But just there's a lot of potential here, and the ships look crazy, the creatures look amazing. I have nothing but good things to say about this game. I'm really looking forward to checking it out um, throughout the year.
Yeah,
But Justin, what's your experience with it?
dude, touching on the multiplayer thing. You remember when Sean Murray, the lead developer for this game, was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll never be able to meet anybody in this game. You guys will be so far apart." And then people, like, literally, it was like day 2 or 3 of the game being
Yeah.
out. People were on the same planet, and they were like, "I don't see him." Like,
Yeah.
all right, buddy. So, it's crazy how far this game has come, dude. Like, talk about one of the greatest comebacks in gaming history. The fact that we're talking about this game 9 years later, came out in 2016, by the way,
Yeah.
is kind of
It's insane.
wild. Yeah. And
Very insane.
I've got the
watched-
trailer rerunning in the background with no audio, but
Yeah.
I'm excited
watched
for
it.
Gas Giants. I have a meme on screen right now of be like, it was from 7 years ago. It was like, Gas Giants when? And they're in the game, guys. So anybody who's been holding out on No Man's Sky, waiting for Gas Giants, they're in this update.
They are. And speaking of updates, apparently I watched GameRanks' video on it about No Man's Sky recently, and they were saying there's like 30 plus named updates, like significant updates. You know, the game's
Oh,
been
yeah.
out for multiple years, but the fact that it's like 30 named ones and that fans are still on board with this game and they're still supporting it, and also the fact that the game has no microtransactions and that all of the post-launch content has remained free, it's just like, it's a godsend. You know what I mean? More game developers should aspire to this, aspire to stuff like this in like
Yes.
Marvel Rivals.
Owning up to your mistakes, having one of the greatest comebacks in all of gaming history, and then also providing that service, that live service for years to come is absolutely incredible. They have another game upcoming that I'll just touch on briefly. It's going to be similar to No Man's Sky, but it'll be like
Fantasy, medieval.
yeah, fantasy medieval, yeah.
It's Light No Fire. I'm
Yeah.
actually looking forward to that because instead of ships, you're flying around and like with dragons and other creatures. And there's a lot of potential. And because of their care and their treatment to No Man's Sky, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm willing to give it a shot, and
Yeah.
I'm willing to tell people, hey, you guys should consider checking this out because that's again what Justin said. I said it. One of the greatest comebacks in gaming history. I'm
Yeah.
not afraid to say that at all. I think a lot of people would concur with that.
I will say
But-
the gameplay hasn't really changed all that much because I haven't played it this year, but I did play it fairly recently with Aaron. My friend Aaron is interested in sci-fi games. I got him into this because it was on sale for the winter sale, and I mean, this game's really, really fun. I like it. I played it on launch. I liked it on launch, believe it or not. I was one of the
Yeah,
10
me too.
people that did.
Me too.
But dude, that's 2 out of 10 right there. It's crazy. But no, I mean, this update, I don't think it's really hooked me personally, but I can see why people would hop back. I think this is a continuation of another update they had. This is Worlds 2, and then
Yes.
Worlds 1 like already touched on expanding the universe a little bit. So if you're big on the exploration part, which I've kind of been burnt out on, definitely go and check out this update. It does look like a lot of fun for that kind of thing, but I'm holding out for Light No Fire because I think I'm ready for something new, but not to dog on
sure,
No Man's Sky.
I haven't played it in a longer time than Justin, so I definitely want to hop back in. But I'm sure playing with friends is even more fun because I know the multiplayer. There's so much potential. I love that 32 player servers. Come on,
Yeah, I mean technically you're all on one live instance, and then like there can be 32 people in your immediate vicinity. So like if it's kind of confused. It's kind of similar to how like Worlds in World of Warcraft or RuneScape work. Like everybody's playing the same game, but like only a certain amount of people can be like nearby to you. I guess that's to help with the networking and whatever, but yeah.
Definitely. Another game that I am playing, an older game too, is Mass Effect Andromeda. Let's take a look at some gameplay.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna play the trailer first, and then we'll get into some gameplay.
Oh, there's gameplay in the trailer, right?
Yeah, for sure. Huge.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, well,
Let's watch the trailer.
yeah, I think it's the cinematic, but it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, it is. Okay.
We dream
Here we
of
go.
exploring the unknown, discovering what lies beyond.
The entire initiative is at risk. None of the Golden Worlds panned out. They're a bust. We need to find more resources, but that takes people, and we can't wake them up. Now more than ever, we need a Pathfinder.
Maybe I'm foolish, maybe I'm blind, thinking I can see through this and see what's behind. Got no way to prove it, so maybe I'm lying.
No way this is home.
Oh!
That's why I'm here, exploring the unknown.
Who are these guys?
Visitors just like us.
Girl, get her on the shuttle now!
Nice work, kid.
I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me.
Meridian is mine.
He has access!
No more mercy. Kill them all.
I'm only human. I'm only human. All it takes is put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me.
Now you are a part of the first wave of arcs arriving in Andromeda, our new home for humanity.
You know, for how terrible this game was, that trailer still gives me goosebumps.
No, that trailer gives me goosebumps too. And I do not agree with Justin. This game is not terrible. It is far from terrible. And I'm playing through it right now. The reason why I'm playing through it right now is because I just recently been hooked into the Steam ecosystem. And one of my holiday gifts,
Uploaded to the Matrix.
one of my holiday gifts, I got a Steam Deck from some of my family. So I've been playing games on my Steam Deck. I've been very into the Steam ecosystem, and Mass Effect Andromeda was on a deep sale, and I figured now is the perfect time to play it because I can play it on my Steam Deck. I don't have to be on the computer to play it. Also, I've never beaten it. I've gotten pretty far in it the first time around, but I never got around to beating it for one reason or another. And the fact that they're kind of working, I heard they're working on a Mass Effect TV show. And so all these things mixed together. Oh, and I also met the Mass Effect cast, the voice actors for Mass Effect, the original trilogy. I met them at a convention. I met them at a convention in Sacramento. So all of that got me really hyped to jump back into Mass Effect Andromeda. And I understand the story, not being the strongest, the characters being quite forgettable. The gameplay is really awesome. The graphics are great. I know games aren't just about the gameplay and the graphics, but the story is sufficient. Like, it's okay, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not...
No, the story's terrible, dude. I mean, you're kind of right.
Okay.
Not every game needs to have, it needs to check every single box, Especially, there's too many games nowadays that try to check every single box, and they end up being crap. But I think Andromeda was the start of, kind of the era we're currently in. You know what I mean? Where they started kind of shafting game stories. And it's not like they replaced game stories with anything new. It's like gameplay has stayed kind of consistent throughout the years, but I feel like writing in general has just suffered so much. We kind of touched on State of Gaming 2025 very briefly in the beginning of this, and I think this is relevant to that conversation. BioWare just laid off a bunch of people. They're down to a shell of their former self. But I know a lot of the guys that are still on are veterans of the series, and I'm hoping that shapes up for good news coming into the next Mass Effect game, because Veilguard was an absolute disaster. Another prime example of actually, I would say the gameplay in that game was also very weak, and the story was also very weak. But Andromeda at least had the gameplay going for it. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but the story wasn't terrible. You know what I mean? I understand what you're saying about how this might be the lead up to where we are now in the games industry, but I feel like the story was just it wasn't atrocious, they tried and it just wasn't as interesting, and them separating it, making it a spin-off, going to a whole nother galaxy.
Okay, Devil's Advocate, the premise was amazing, and honestly a really good way to be honest, you can not be a fan of Andromeda or be a fan of Andromeda, and it matters nil, because this game has zero effect on the main story, which is exactly how you should do a spin-off. They could have dropped the ball on the next main series Mass Effect game. I mean, I don't know. It kind of feels bad to be dogging on Starfield right now because it's not really related. It's the first game in its quote unquote series, but I feel like Bethesda can only like walk up the stairs at this point when it comes to Starfield specifically, because that release was met with mixed reception.
They proved it otherwise with the DLC. They kind of went back.
Well, okay, I mean like for like the sequel, because in terms of story specifically, since that was the topic we were kind of touching on, it's the same. I feel like it's the same quality as Andromeda. Like the premise was good, and it failed to deliver. And kind of similar too. I feel like Starfield's gameplay is actually really fun. It's just not replayable. Like you play it once and you're like, okay, I've seen everything.
Yeah. No, what I love about Mass Effect Andromeda is just exploring the planets. They're pretty big. There's a lot of quests to do, and I wanted to, I wanted to have good relations with a lot of the people. You know, even though they might not be as cool.
Yeah,
or
good
as
relations,
memorable.
bro. All the Asari and
the
Krogans, especially, I'm sure.
I like PB. You know, there's
no.
Don't get me wrong, she's nowhere near Liara, but I'm just saying they're like sufficient. They're like okay, you know. There are way worse single player RPGs that I think, to your point, that kind of started this really don't care about the story as much, you know, try to appeal to a broader audience. I think there are more down the line. I don't think Andromeda's the start of that.
First female Turian companion kind of gives this a whole point in my... If I had to put this game on a scale of 1 to 10, it gets a whole extra point just for female Turian companion. So, W. There were female Turian characters in the prequel games, but they weren't a part of the main cast, for anyone who didn't know.
That is really cool. So they tried some stuff. Newer aliens, kind of weak. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, they suck. The villains suck. Even the friendly aliens suck.
Yeah, they all they were weak. You know, you could have brought more. You know, but whatever. It was all right.
They were going with the colonizer look. I think they were going with like, okay, we are the colonizer, and you know, there's a place for that, especially with this kind of genre game. I'm not saying it's out of place, but I don't know. I felt like the villain could have been a bigger threat. At least it just felt like a cakewalk.
Correct, but no spoilers because I have not finished it yet. I'm still working on it. But
I'm trying not to. Yeah,
it's solid. It's solid. A little overhated in my opinion, but I understand where.
When the biggest threat in the story is literally a space like that weird thing in space that turns off the power. It's not even the main villain. It's just like a thing that exists. You know, you have a problem. The Scourge. That's the biggest threat to the characters in this, and the stakes are so low because of that. It's like
so boring. It's just there. Like it's literally static.
Just go around it.
I know. Okay, but anyways, there's aside from some really old games that we're returning to, and some of the new releases that we've checked out and Justin played. There are some games, some service, live service games or games that are ongoing that we are also kind of playing. Justin, I know you're a big one. I know you want to talk about it.
Dude, Escape from Tarkov, dude. Let me just transition to the trailer for this season. The wipe just happened, and this is all the stuff they added for anybody who's interested in Tarkov. Here we go, playing it now. All right, and we're back.
Pipe.
So, what'd you think of that? I know you kind of touched on Tarkov a little bit last year. Haven't really played it much this year, but that was actually from the patch that you played. So, I don't know. What'd you think of the trailer, at least? I know you haven't really touched on much of that gameplay yet.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've played a couple of matches. I've extracted all of them, largely thanks to Justin
Let's
and
go.
his group, a squad. But no, the game is a lot of fun. The only thing that always kind of turned me away from it is just there's so much info you kind of have to have stored in the memory banks. Like, it's not a forgiving game. You know, you got to put the time and effort to really kind of enjoy it. I enjoyed the time that I played with Justin because he really helped me learn some of the mechanics of it. I definitely want to play more of it, but it's a lot, and it's a little bit, nerve-wracking.
It can be overwhelming, yeah. This game is a hardcore realism shooter for people that don't know the finer details. The trailer doesn't really show that much. It's more cinematic. But, yeah, it can be... It's very daunting. I will say there is a casual fan base for this game. I mean, they've incorporated PvE, player versus entity, for the more casual fan base. I know we haven't touched on it, even though you actually have access to the co-op mode. I feel like that I've tried to convince you so the audience has context here, like maybe we should play more of that, because at least you won't at least you won't lose your progress, right? Like for the more casual players, progress is a big thing, it's a big factor. A lot of people quit Tarkov like as the wipes are happening. Wipes last about 6 months for context. A lot of casual players will be turned off because they'll just fall behind, and then they're like, I can't really compete with all the players. It's a PvP game, you know. So PvE is a big thing for like, okay, I don't want to lose my progress. I still want that hardcore realism aspect. The AI in this game is so brutal. Like even playing PvE is still a challenge. Don't get me wrong. It's just, you know.
Yeah, I might want to jump into that.
This game does not value your time, I will say. So you're correct on that. But you know, this game is made for a very niche audience. I'm included in that audience. I like having, you know, it's kind of like being a Destiny player. You jump in the new season, and it's like everybody's doing new content. Okay, well, I'm talking Destiny in its prime, not like right now.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Everybody jumps in. Tarkov is kind of in its prime right now, despite all the bugs and the controversy and people hating on the game. I'm a fan of the game. I hate on the game. It's part of the meme at this point, but you know,
I want
every season is always a treat. And the new quest line for the season, dude, like I've been playing with the homies. No, don't play Destiny.
Oh, I was gonna say, I thought you were talking about Destiny still.
No, I'm talking about Tarkov. Just so you know, everything I just said is in context for Tarkov. No, the new quest line for Tarkov, dude. Like the trailer showed it pretty extensively. The little BTR tank driving around. So that thing has been in the game already for a year, and all you could really do was you could pay the driver to drive you around, and shoot the gun. That was pretty much it. But now, like, you can go in the raid. You know how like when you're in the menu, you can like accept quests from the traders. Yeah. So now you can go in the raid, like you're playing the game. You go to the tank, you get in the tank, and the driver's like, hey, I have a job for you. And you can actually do quests for him while you're playing the game. It's like one of the coolest things ever. And it's actually a teaser for things to come in the future. They're eventually going to add, allegedly, I'm going to asterisk that right now, allegedly add all of the traders to the game, so you have to physically go to them to accept your quests. So this is kind of like this is a way they're testing that feature while also giving us new gameplay for the BTR driver. So they have an achievement tied to it. If you finish the whole quest line, you get an achievement. You get some unlocks that are permanent unlocks for when your character carries over. I think it's a new hideout skin if you finish the quest line this wipe. So it's like it's incentivizing people to play, which is good. That's something that they've lacked for a really long time, is incentivization to finish quest lines. So they're going in the right direction. It's a step in the right direction. Despite all the bugs this wipe, despite the cheating problem, they really nail it with the gameplay. It's one of those things like.
Oh, that's good to hear, and
Love-hate
I understand why. I understand why if the gameplay loop is enticing. You know, I can totally understand.
Oh yeah, I love screwing people over out of their loot. Like, you just came off of work for a hard day. It's been 10 hours. You're hopping on Tarkov. You know, you're just you're a single dad. What?
That does not seem like the game you want to hop on after a hard day of work.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's so satisfying. Like, you know, those guys that are super, and I just ruined their night. Like, oh, it makes me feel so good. But no, I'm just kidding. It goes both ways. Like, my night can also equally be ruined. It's just the nature of the game. If you log into the game, you know what you're getting into.
Hard day of work, and then you lose all your loot. No, just
For real, to Justin. It's going to my stash, dude. Of course.
but yeah, man. Another live service game that I kind of started going back and playing is Helldivers 2. So let's look at their biggest expansion date.
Yep. Spoilers. No aliens. All right, I'm starting it now.
They arrived without warning, laying waste to our peaceful colonies, crushing all resistance. They stole our citizens' homes and their minds, and something much, much worse, their freedom. But when our citizens are attacked, our greatest heroes arrive to set them free. Together, we will save our people from this tortured existence. For we are those who stand in the way of all tyranny, who will give our lives today for a freer tomorrow, who will take back control of freedom. And deliver peace to our homes. We are the Helldivers.
No doubt. That was patriotic as hell.
Heck yeah, dude. We gotta liberate the planets being overrun by the Illuminate ASAP.
Yes. So Helldivers 2 is a game that I happily return to, as many people have already, have probably, uh, talked about. I know a lot of people who said that they've gone on break. They're kind of waiting for that next big update. Because it's awesome that they're adding a bunch of war bonds, a lot of cool cosmetics, a lot of great new weapons. But people, the gameplay gets a little repetitive. You know what I mean? And I get it's a smaller studio. It makes sense. But now with the Illuminate in the fold, it just adds a whole lot to the game. And that includes excuse me, that was my alarm. That
We're at the hour
includes
mark.
yes, the hour mark. But
Thank you, JT.
no,
I
that
appreciate
includes
you.
like the vehicle. It includes the maps and the locations, the stratagems. This really big update with the Illuminate is huge for the game, and will give players more of a reason to continue to log in every day. So I want to try to get more people to hop on with me. It's a little tough because a lot of our friends are Xbox users, and Xbox doesn't have Helldivers, so I can only play with PC and PlayStation. So
Yeah.
that's one of the only negatives I got for it. But have you checked it out since the Illuminate have arrived?
Nope. That game is uninstalled, needed space for other shit.
Yeah, I know that the space is an issue. Now that I'm on PC, I have to even be more mindful of it compared to console. I mean, yeah, I was mindful of it on console, but now I'm really mindful of it for multiple reasons. But no, that it is a fun update, Justin. Can't recommend it enough. There's so many games we're playing, but that should be one that everyone should return to once in a while because those devs do really good work. Justin, the last game that we have that we started off the year with. You want to introduce it?
Yeah, so this game's kind of gonna be a surprise for a lot of people, I'm sure. But if you're a big Minecraft fan, boy, do I have a treat for you. This game is called Vintage Story, and here's the trailer. All right. Transitioning now to some gameplay, and hopefully we'll get JT back here in just a second.
Yes, sir. Okay. I have a lot to say about that, but I'll let you start.
No,
Since
tell me
you're,
your thoughts, actually. I'm curious.
oh, you're curious?
Yeah.
Well, um, it's funny because Justin is not the biggest fan of hero shooters, right? And for me, I'm not the biggest fan of these survival type games. Justin knows. Justin and Tyler have brought it up on the pod before. I have infamously I've stated that I was not the biggest fan of Minecraft, and I missed it during its prime for legitimate reasons, might I add. But so seeing another Minecraft-like game, it has me interested. Not that I want to like play it or anything, but I'm just curious. I'm just curious how different it could be from like Minecraft, considering it shares so many similarities just from the outside looking in.
Yeah, that's a crazy take from somebody who's played the game. This game is not anything like Minecraft. The only similarity is that it's a voxel-based, blocky style game. Literally nothing.
Hey, I
Nothing is
looking in.
similar. No, I know. No, no. I preface that.
Yeah.
As somebody who's played it, I want to make it very clear. This is not Minecraft. For anybody watching, you may think that this is Minecraft, the blocky experience. This is just a style of game called a voxel-based game. Minecraft is the most famous voxel-based game. Wasn't the first to do it though. And this game actually is 7 years old. That's the big reveal. This game is almost as old as Minecraft, and it is kind of blowing up right now. It kind of blew up really like within the last 6 months, but my friend group that I play survival games with has really, really taken to this. It is nothing like anything I've ever played. I'm looking at gameplay right now. I just realized that you could put the oar paddle for the raft on the raft. I thought you had to put it. Oh dang, dude! I'm learning the game still. So I'm like, dude, what? No, this game is incredible. I'm actually, to backtrack on your earlier comment with survival games. I know you said that you're like not the biggest fan of survival games, but you expressed interest in playing DayZ at least. So, I mean,
Well, that's a little different.
no,
That's
that game and this game are very similar. It just they don't look anything alike.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe it's just the voxel survival games, but it's not even just voxel survival games. Like, I was really interested in The Forest, and I think I still am. Like, I still want to give The Forest
You like
a
survival
shot.
games. You just don't like the voxel based thing then.
Maybe, but like even The Forest kind of, the first Forest at least, I just hopped on, and they're just they take a little bit of commitment, and you got to learn. You got to put
Yes.
the time in, and it, as just getting up in age, getting older. I like the games where you can kind of pick it up a little bit quicker. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to sound like a hermit. I'm not a hermit. I'm still under 30, but it's just there's a lot. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of resources to gather. It's just I don't know. I can go into an RPG and I'm invested in the story. But for like a survival game, I gotta have the patience. I gotta have the time.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's kind of like, the equivalent to like listening to an audiobook. You're like, I don't have the time. I kind of do it maybe on my ride to work, and like spending the time and sitting down and like reading a book. That's what I would say is like the equivalent to a survival game in video game sense. Is you have to sit down. It takes a really long time to like get yourself established. That's kind of the point. It's like you're like, I'm in the mood for a really slow paced game that I can probably play for a few weeks off and on. Doesn't require a whole lot of commitment. That's the surprising thing. This game does not require commitment, right? Like if you're not playing the game, time isn't moving. So it's like you're just like whenever you play, especially with your friends. I've been playing with a lot of people. There's like 10 of us on the server that I paid for, and we're going ham right now. It's awesome. It's incredible. And like just this game has absolutely blew my mind in terms of survival aspects. Minecraft is very casual. Minecraft is more about the building and creativity than anything else. That game, funny enough, is more up your alley in terms of what you're saying, because Minecraft, you could play the entire game from start to finish, experience everything in like less than 12 hours. Like it's insanely fast paced. This game would definitely take you like a few weeks to get through everything. We barely even touched on the early aspects of this game, and we've been playing it for like 4 or 5 days now.
I'm curious, how did you find out about it? Because how I found out that Justin was playing this game, I just saw in the chat, because me and Justin, we're hosts of the server, and I just saw him posting some stuff about about Vintage Story and about this private server, and they were talking about roles and classes, and I was like, "What is this? A mod?" Because all they talk about, because the chat is for Escape from Tarkov. The chat's for that, and they just randomly started talking about Vintage Story. So I'm kind of curious.
Yeah. Okay. So like, it's not really just to clarify for JT real quick. Sorry, viewers, but I mean, it's named a Tarkov chat, but it's like our Tarkov group. Tarkov Tonys
Group.
is what we call ourselves. And
Yeah,
so
yeah, I
we
figured.
play a variety of games, but it's like my Tarkov
Yeah.
friend group. So like, we're all interested in this game, so we were talking about it in that chat instead of making another chat room. Just to just to clear that up for you.
No. I had a feeling that's what it was, but you
Yeah.
guys play Tarkov so much. You guys love Tarkov so much that that's literally what it's only been used for until Vintage Story. So that's why I bring it up because it's actually really funny.
Yeah. No, dude, so this game is like it's really just taken over my friend group, to be honest. it's it's a lot like Minecraft, only in the sense that it looks like this, and the gameplay is kind of similar too, but like you literally start from chopping grass to making a flint knife and a flint axe, chopping down trees. It's a true survival game in that aspect. There's a lot of horror elements. It's actually very Lovecraftian. The monsters are very like cryptid based. It's like it actually has this pseudo horror vibe to it. If you're looking at gameplay right now on the screen for the viewers, you're actually seeing a guy go through a cave right now, and there's these weird creepy monsters crawling around. It literally looks like Cthulhu creatures. And actually, this game does have a story. It's basically in the medieval era, a schism occurred where like the world split. It kind of branched off into its own dimension, and it's like being slammed into another dimension with these weird cryptid monsters. So like they are like, it's blending into the Earth as we know it, and so it's like two worlds colliding. It's a really interesting story, really interesting premise, and yeah, you're just trying to survive and not die. That's basically the game.
I really hope that a game titled Vintage Story would have some type of a story. So that's really good. That's
Yeah. More of a story than Minecraft has, that's for sure.
yeah. I wouldn't know, but that is funny. How did you find out about it? I know
Yes.
you were saying it kind of rised up in popularity, but
So I actually I watched a YouTube video on this. It was just in my recommended on YouTube, and I was just like, oh, this looks like Minecraft. Literally like the same reaction you kind of had. I watched it and I was like, okay, this is not Minecraft. I'm really interested. I'm always looking for something new that's like kind of similar to what I already have experience in. I'm a big sucker for survival games. I played them all. I played DayZ. I played Rust. I played this game. I played Minecraft. I played The Forest. I love survival games. Tarkov in itself is like a survival game, but it's more of like an instance than like an open world kind of thing. This game is everything I've ever wanted from a medieval survival game, and because it's voxel based, it's very accessible. Like even my friends with lower end PCs can hop in. My friend Matt, actually from North Carolina, just flew in. And funny enough, it was also recommended in his feed, and he just mentioned it like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like, hey, have you heard of this game? I was like, actually, yes, I have. And he's like, we should play it. And so we got like they have a family pack. You can buy 4 copies for a group of people, and then like pay for a server. We pay like $10 a month for the server, and it's really accessible. Modding it is super easy. Like literally only one person needs to download the mods, and then like when you join the server, it automatically does the mod download for you. Like this game is so accessible compared to Minecraft. It's insane. Like it's actually kind of made me a little salty that Minecraft feels like it's been shafted by Mojang and Microsoft lately. Like this game is perfect. I hope it continues to be.
no, that's awesome, man. That's really cool. It's great to hear about games that you never heard of before, and Vintage Story I think is one of those examples. Because me and you, we know a lot about games. So whenever a game is brought up, you're like, oh, I've heard about that, or I've seen that around. I've seen gameplay of it. But Vintage Story is literally one of those games where you brought it up in the chat, and then I was like, oh, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. So I'm not saying we know all games, every game, but it takes a little bit to introduce something where all of us are new to it. So
yeah, I think the reason this game hasn't really exploded is because it's a very small dev team. It might only be like 2 or 3 people that work on this game, which is insane for how much depth that it has. Like wild. And the mod support is just chef's kiss. PC gamers out here know mod support is a big deal, and this game embraces it. Even the trailer talked about embracing it, you know? So
Yeah. No, totally. But yeah, so everyone, that those are the games that we have started the year off playing. A lot of a couple of new releases, a couple of old ones that are random but kind of have, a point to revisiting. And then, some of those live service games, some of those ongoing titles that maybe you might expect in some that you are not too familiar with. So I hope you enjoyed listening to us chat about all the games we've been playing, and we can't wait to be making more pod episodes in 2025. In fact, Justin, did you want to briefly just hint and tease kind of our plans for the year?
yeah, so we have a couple of things going on this year in terms of podcasts, but I actually have the document. You just have to. You give me a second to pull it up because this was unexpected. Well, we gotta do things on the fly for anybody who's new here, but
Yeah.
I know we
You wanna
have
show
we
the
have
good,
an
you wanna show
article
the
we have an article series that we want to go to, kind of back to the how we structured episode 1 a bit. Something about bad video game reviews. That's definitely on the docket.
Yeah.
Do you remember any of the other ones we were gonna get into?
Yeah. So our next episode, we plan to be, taking a look at some bad video game reviews, kind of giving our thoughts on why we think they're bad. Objectively, they're bad. No, I'm just kidding. But there's some really bad reviews, and we just kind of want to talk about them a little bit. It'll be a fun episode, I feel like. Some of the other ones, we have some timely ones, like basically the state of the games industry.
Oh yeah, we did touch on that in this one, just briefly.
Yeah, which we touched about briefly, but maybe we want to go a little bit more in depth. We also plan, I think, on talking about kind of the mass layoffs. That's kind of part of that. Game releases that are coming out this year and what we hope to see. What we hope not to see return in 2025. And then we also have just some ones that we can kind of release at any point. So we have timely ones, and then we have just some little fun podcast episodes that we are hoping to release on a more consistent basis, I would say, right?
Yeah, we want to have a more consistent upload schedule. You could consider that the New Year's resolution for the podcast. Kind of cringe,
Yes.
but yeah. But
yeah.
I'm sure you're excited for the most attractive characters in gaming podcast that we have planned. Hopefully, we get to that one soon.
That is going to be a really fun one. And it's funny you mentioned that. Justin was going to do. We each talk about the characters, right, individually. Maybe do like a tier list, and then we talk about like how their games are, right? And that's a really awesome idea. But then I was like, there's going to be a lot of characters where we haven't played their games. So it's going to be hard we're going to come up with something cool. We're still in the planning stages of all this, but I'm really looking forward to some of these ideas that we got going. We have cooking in the oven, so
yeah,
look forward to that. But
really excited.
Yeah.
Hopefully we tease a little bit for the future. Maybe next week. Hopefully next week we have this episode out, I think, probably by Monday or Tuesday, and then another one like the following week. Again, we want to have like a more weekly, at least bi-weekly release schedule, ideally. That's what we're planning.
And we're not beholden to that, but we definitely want to post more often. That's the big thing. Timely stories and just some fun ones that you can just enjoy in the background or something. But
yeah,
with that,
can I mind if I touch on something real quick before we finish it off?
Of course.
Yeah, if anybody's watching to this point, please comment on the production quality for this stream. I tried my best to make it as smooth as possible. I was doing everything live, so there might be some mistakes here and there that should get ironed out, but trying something new, just instead of having everything pre-planned, pre-staged, we're doing it on the fly. I hope it looked good. Any suggestions in the comments would be much appreciated. Let us know how you thought about this podcast, and if you have any recommendations on stuff we can talk about in the future too, I would really appreciate that from some of our friends I know who watch the pod, and any randoms out there who stumbled across the video.
Yeah, no, definitely. I was just about to say that when you were talking about any recommendations or how it looks and how it's ran, and then of course the ideas and pitches. We have a lot in the pipeline, but we are really interested to hear what you're interested in and what you're want us to talk about and touch upon that maybe we haven't thought about, right? So
yeah.
But with that out of the way, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
All right, later guys.